Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'm thankful to Cadila people that they have invited me here to speak in front of you in this conclave on a topic of tuberculosis. Especially, they want to concentrate on one thing, that is side effects of rifampicin, how one can improvise, and what the new drugs we have for the treatment of tuberculosis. Before starting this topic, and before discussing the recent advancement in tuberculosis, especially in treatment part, I must cover in brief regarding the history of treatment of tuberculosis. We have read about the fact that tuberculosis was considered as a curse. Then one must die with tuberculosis. If the curse is there, there is no cure. From that era to the era of sanatorium, only rest is the treatment. Then something like artificial pneumothorax, giving rest to that part of lung, and the tuberculosis will be cured. Then the era of chemotherapy, where we are using drugs for treatment of tuberculosis, the most promising era, and we find very interesting and dramatic results in that era. Now we are facing a new or a very unique problem of this chemotherapy-related treatment of tuberculosis, and that we all know is resistance. Now we all have come across with the terminology of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, then that is called as MDR tuberculosis, then the extensively drug resistant tuberculosis, that is called as XDR tuberculosis, and now thanks to Amir Khan, we know TDR tuberculosis, that is total drug resistant tuberculosis. We don't know whether we have that thing in India or not. There's a lot of debate, but things are rapidly changing. One interesting fact I must mention, that even before introduction of rifampicin in a treatment of tuberculosis, majority of the part of Europe conquered this battle against tuberculosis and seizes tuberculosis as an epidemiological or public health problem in that era or in that area. We all know without rifampicin till today we cannot imagine the management of tuberculosis. If rifampicin is not there, or we cannot use rifampicin because of a particular reason, patient is not tolerating or some contraindication for the use of rifampicin in very few patients, then things are very different as far as prognosis is concerned. We are very concerned about treatment of tuberculosis. So definitely there are advancements in a management or treatment of tuberculosis. We must know it, but we should not forget it, that drugs are not enough to conquer this battle against tuberculosis. Judicial diagnosis, proper management, including proper and judicial use of drugs with adequate dosages, with prescribed guideline duration of the chemotherapy is must to conquer this epidemic of tuberculosis in our country. We are facing problem of drug-resistant tuberculosis. It's a man-made menace. It's a man-made problem, huge problem. Just because we have not diagnosed tuberculosis properly, just because we have not treated tuberculosis properly, and we must understand we have time to conquer this epidemic of tuberculosis by proper diagnosis, judicious use, and using a prescribed guideline, approved regimens and dosages. With this brief, I'll start today's topic, that is what recently we have in a treatment of tuberculosis, especially in the management of tuberculosis. As I have already told, this drug-resistant tuberculosis is a man-made issue, it's a man-made problem. We are still searching to manage the drug-resistant tuberculosis, new drugs and regimen. I wonder why we need to search these new drugs to manage drug-resistant tuberculosis when it's a man-made problem. The first address should be, do not create the drug-resistant tuberculosis. And the second address should be, manage or tackle this already created menace. To some extent now, a lot of awareness we have created amongst medical fraternity at the patient's end, and everybody know now that treatment is to be taken for a particular duration, but still much is needed to be done in that front. But fortunately now we have few new drugs coming in pipeline who are approved by European Union, who are approved by US FDA in a treatment of drug-resistant tuberculosis, and we'll discuss that. And in drug susceptible tuberculosis, what's new in the treatment? Any new drug? Definitely we have some few new drugs and few regimens. Why we need some to manage this drug-resistant tuberculosis, new drugs to manage this drug-resistant tuberculosis? Drug resistance is always, we know we are managing malaria with chloroquine now, another drug, combination, duration increased and everything. It's just like that. We have created resistance with a particular drug, now we are searching new drug, using that drug, and we will again create resistance to that drug. To break this cycle again, judicious use of again this new drug is must, and we must understand creating new drugs is just not enough even to treat or manage this epidemic of drug-resistant tuberculosis. New drugs in drug susceptible tuberculosis. The 4 drugs at present we are using, or the 5 drugs at present we are using, they are the base drugs: streptomycin, INH, ethambutol, rifampicin, and pyrazinamide. They cover almost all bacterial population we have in human body, which is responsible for this disease called as tuberculosis. And we know extensively about now this pathophysiology, this natural course of the disease, how this happens, and where to attack, which drug is attacking which population. We really don't need any new drug at present. The fear is that introduction of new drug without having a judicious use of that drug, without creating a proper policy when to use that drug, again going to create a menace of drug resistance, and we may lose that novel or a very good drug. So first step in tuberculosis should be a proper diagnosis, and second step in tuberculosis should be judicious use of the existing drugs in proper drug dosages. Still we see prescriptions for tuberculosis or pulmonary tuberculosis in our OPD like this. Why, if I ask the patient why you are taking this medicine half tablet a day, the simple answer of that patient is that my doctor told me that as you are not tolerating this full tablet of ethambutol, take the half tablet, 800 milligram at least. Everybody must participate in controlling this epidemic of tuberculosis by creating better awareness among patients and improving the compliance. Compliance is definitely an issue, but in our hand, definitely a proper prescription, proper dosages, and proper regimen is there. WHO has an end-TB strategy at the end of, by the end of 2035. It's a distinct dream appears at present. There are few drugs way if we can reduce the duration of chemotherapy. The history itself says that no sooner than we decrease the duration of chemotherapy from 12 months to 6 months, the compliance increased a lot. So people are now trying to decrease this duration of chemotherapy. This duration of chemotherapy can be decreased only with introduction of new drugs added in the existing regimen, and we have a few new drugs now available with us now. One of that is bedaquiline, or pharma name is Certero. This is approved by US FDA in 2012. This drug is associated with early culture conversion and better cure rates, and this drug has been used in susceptible as well as drug-resistant tuberculosis in US. Especially this use of these drugs and the trial are many with susceptible tuberculosis than the drug-resistant tuberculosis, and this is an approved drug for the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis in US. It is not approved in EU or European Union and India. The dosage is 400 milligram a day for first 2 weeks, then 3 times a week for another say 22 weeks, 6 months. And it is a very promising drug, and especially in treatment of drug-resistant tuberculosis. It can cause QT prolongation. We need to monitor ECG changes, and we must not forget that there's a little bit higher mortality rates were observed with this bedaquiline use in a group where bedaquiline used for the treatment of tuberculosis. Another drug is the Deltiba, which is approved by EU in 2013 for the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. This drug was also associated with early sputum conversion, and recommended dose is 100 milligram BD. There are trials undergoing with phase 2 and 3 clinical trials in US, but not yet approved in US or India. This is a linezolid analog and very promising drug. It's a better anti-mycobacterial activity than the linezolid, and it has improved safety profile than the linezolid. We all are using linezolid in the management of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, but this sutezolid is better linezolid analog, which has better antimicrobacterial activity and improved safety profile than the linezolid. There is no drug interaction with antiretroviral, which is again a very good and promising quality of this drug. And it has a potential to shorten the treatment duration from 6 months to 4 months. The thought is that introduction of such type of safe drug even in the treatment of drug-sensitive tuberculosis may allow us to reduce the duration of chemotherapy from 6 months to 4 months. Currently, phase 2 trials are going on. Then certain these code names, that is SQ109 is analog with ethambutol. It has cidal activity. It has synergistic and additive actions with INH, rifampicin, and second-line anti-TB drugs. There is very low bacterial mutation rate with this drug, and currently phase 3 trials are going on. This can be used in drug susceptible as well as MDR tuberculosis. Then this PA824 is this code name of it, or pritomanid. This is a potent bactericidal sterilizing agent. This is the only drug in the say recent past which we have found which has a sterilizing action against mycobacteria that is slightly comparable with rifampicin. Sterilizing action is that particular drug acts on every possible type of mycobacteria. The mycobacterial population, as we know today that roughly we have 4 types of mycobacterial population in a patient of tuberculosis. One is a true dormant population. On that, these dormant bacilli, they remain dormant, they remain metabolically inactive for years together, and they don't cause any harm to the individual, and they remain as it is in the lesion. And then another 3 like rapidly, or another 3 categories, like one is actively metabolizing mycobacteria, second is the mycobacteria which shows spurs of metabolism, and third is the mycobacteria which is inside the cell. So the drug which covers these 3 population is supposed to be the best drug, and that is the sterilizing drug. We don't have any drug which acts on the dormant mycobacteria. We have drugs which acts against only metabolically active mycobacteria. Metabolically active sterilizing agents, which till today we have the best drug for that is rifampicin, and another drug which is slightly comparable with that is protonamide. And this sterilizing action, again, now people are saying or thinking of can be used in a drug susceptible tuberculosis patients of mycobacteria at its fullest and at its best. But there are certain shortcomings of rifampicin. The tolerance sometimes is they are not tolerated. Rifampicin is not tolerated well in the doses that patient is supposed to take. There is low and variable bioavailability of the rifampicin if it is combined with other drugs. There is subtherapeutic serum rifampicin levels if it is consumed with antacids especially. There is many times poor GI and hepatic tolerance, and there are multiple adverse drug-drug interactions of rifampicin, and we all know that. But still today, still this is the best drug we have, and majority of the patients we don't find any problem. But in patient, when we have problems with rifampicin, especially with doses, when the patient is not tolerating the required dose of 8 to 12 milligram per kg per day, Then can we lower the dose of rifampicin and maintain the viability of the drug by adding some another drug to it? Yes, by adding piperine to the rifampicin, we can lower the dose of rifampicin in a particular individual, and that even if this lower dose of rifampicin is associated with maintaining the serum rifampicin level by inhibition of this particular enzyme, and as the dose of rifampicin is lower, the hepatotoxicity with rifampicin is less, and also the GI side effects are less. Therefore, in certain population like elderly people, alcoholics, where a patient is not tolerating higher doses of rifampicin, this low dose of rifampicin piperine is a very good alternative. It's a rifampicin levels are equal with rifampicin, and rizorin is a combination of piperine and rifampicin, low dose of rifampicin. GI tolerance is better with this combination. Risk of hepatitis is less with this combination, and treatment adherence rate is high, especially when there is virtually no side effects or less side effects. So benefits are obvious, I already mentioned. These rizorin-based regimen is associated with better tolerability and improved patient compliance. And these benefits of improved adherence to treatment, lower the treatment failure rates, and reduce the relapse rates. There is definitely a place of therapy in treatment of tuberculosis, especially the combination like this, where we have a low dose of rifampicin with certain additive drug which maintains the MIC of rifampicin in the plasma of serum, especially in alcoholics, elderly, malnourished, and hepatitis B patients. Thank you. Thank you.